All right. The next thing I want to talk about is getting out of your own way. A lot of the things that stop us from becoming who we want to be are self-imposed, whether or not we are cognizant of that happening. So once again, checking in and identifying limiting beliefs and stories that we tell ourselves. So if I'm, practicing the mantra and every day I'm affirming I am abundant and I am prosperous, and I'm saying it in the morning, and then the rest of my day, I'm focusing on my lack of money, my inability to pay my bills, not knowing where my next paycheck's coming from, and telling myself the stories that there's not enough money to go around, then no matter how many times I said that affirmation, it's not cohesive with my truth beliefs. And if you have done affirmations in the past and they haven't worked, it's because you're using affirmations that you don't truly believe. So start identifying some of those stories that you tell yourself that are hindering your progress toward your goals, become cognizant of them, and then change them. And I didn't even know how many limiting money beliefs I had, because this is just one area that a lot of people struggle with. So I'm going to talk about it because it's pretty universal. But I grew up, a single mom, worked 2 jobs. Sometimes we couldn't pay our bills. Sometimes we couldn't afford groceries. So in my head, I began to think money is scarce. There's not enough to go around. And if you want money, you have to work really, really, really hard to get it. And even then, there's still not enough. And I didn't even realize these stories were inside of me until I had to start pricing my own services and telling people my prices and having these talks about money. But now that I'm aware of them, I can overcome them, I can change them, and I can reframe them. Leela says, working on dropping the old stories that don't serve me. Yes. Yep. Love it. Crucible events. I don't know if you've ever heard of this term, but crucible events are things that happened in your life, whether negative or positive, that imprinted on your central nervous system and created some sort of perspective or story. So it could be, something negative, maybe a divorce, or it could be something positive, like graduating from college or something like that. But a crucible event imprints into your central nervous system and impacts your belief system and the stories that you believe. Another one, releasing the expectations of others. I mean, raise your hand to the sky or put a 1 in the chat if you are a people pleaser or a recovering people pleaser. And I don't know if you guys can see me, but my hand is way up. Way, way, way up. Yep, I see some 1s. Yeah. So no longer are we going to be concerned about how we're impacting others if it goes over our own boundaries, or if it makes us uncomfortable or us sad. We're going to be very concrete with our boundaries, and we're going to stick to our boundaries. And if you skip down a little bit, you said I wrote say no more, which might surprise you because you might be like, oh no, we should say yes more because we're open to opportunity. If it serves your highest self and the person you want to be, then heck yeah, say yes. Go with it. Be open to opportunity. But if it doesn't, if it's, doing something for somebody else that doesn't serve you to your highest potential, then say no and be okay with that. It is okay to say no. And the fact that we're so accessible now, right? People can text us or FaceTime us or Marco Polo us or Voxer us or email us or call us, if you're old fashioned, and call us on the phone. And we think we have to immediately respond and we have to be immediately available to all these people. It's not true. It's a story we have told ourselves, and it's a story that is all around us because we are so accessible. Leaky boundaries don't work. You're right, Leela, they sure don't. They sure don't. We want solid boundaries, and we want to honor our boundaries, because sometimes it's easy to set the boundary, but when somebody actually crosses the boundary, it's hard to enforce it. So we can say the boundary's there, but if somebody pushes past it, it might be a difficult conversation or an awkward conversation for us to actually enforce that boundary and set it. Yeah, so solid boundaries going forward. And releasing resistance. So again, if you're telling yourself that you're prosperous and abundant, but for 23 hours of the day, all you're focusing on is scarcity, you attract like attracts like. If you're focusing on scarcity, you're going to get more scarcity. If you're focusing on misery and frustration, you're going to get more misery and frustration. What we focus on expands, it gets bigger. So start shifting your focus, start being cognizant of what you're focusing on. And statistically, something like 80 to 90% of the thoughts we think daily are the same exact thoughts that we thought yesterday. So how can we expect anything to change if 80% of our day we're thinking the same thing we thought yesterday? What got you here won't get you to where you want to go. So what can you start changing and implementing and executing today to get you closer to the best, most authentic, truest version of who you are supposed to be? Because remember, you beat those odds. 1 in 40 trillion. You're supposed to be here. You have a purpose. You have a gift.